A Quest for Biliteracy by Elizabeth Miranda. The data collected from this presentation was from an interview with my intervention coach from school, from my student's mom, classroom observations, and from the ESL Academy Bilingual Instructional Coach. The purpose of my presentation today is to analyze the language policy in my school, which is Transitional Bilingual Education Early Exit as per my principal, and to demonstrate how it fosters or it deters the development of meta-language and biliteracy development for our students. I got the opportunity to interview our instructional coach from our school through the phone, and the first question I asked was, how do we foster our students' biliteracy with the language model we are currently using? And she replied, the program is designed to foster our students with many strategies from SIOP and ALPS. The program is to reinforce their first language and build on the second language. I then asked her, however, the curriculum and the instruction is conducted in English. Should parents worry that their children will gradually forget their first language? She responded, some might feel a concern, but the moment they decide to come to the United States, they knew and they felt the need for their students or their children to acquire the second language to ensure their future success. The SIOP program that she was talking about is sheltered instruction methods or techniques that are used by educators to help English language learners understand and acquire the English language. Also, the content, area knowledge, and skills. This also helps teachers raise the expectations for teachers and for students, and it increases achievement in content areas, accelerating the second language acquisition and ensuring yearly progress. So as you can see, that the main focus in our district is to get students speaking, reading, and writing the English language. The first language is used in elementary from pre-K to third grade, and it's more of a one-on-one basis. If the student is confused or is not comprehending, they have a one-on-one mini lesson in their first language. But it's basically, we want to get the students reading, writing, and speaking in English. The faster, the better. My case study will be focused on my student Veronica. She is 4 years old and she is enrolled in my pre-K classroom. Her family came from Monterrey, Mexico. They are not here legally, but they left because of the violence going on in Mexico. Veronica's older siblings stayed behind, and her family does not speak the English language, so she is in a new country, learning a new language away from her family. The first week of school, she was very afraid. She was listening to a new language, seeing unfamiliar people. So this was a very difficult transition for this little girl and for her entire family. Little by little, I have made a connection with Veronica using her native language, which is Spanish. Mom continues to speak to Veronica in Spanish at home, and she supports Veronica with her second language acquisition by her enrolling in English classes. It's important for educators to take the time to learn about their students' background to make connections with them in the classroom. This year I was lucky enough to volunteer and participate in the ESL Academy, and this is 20 extra days of work in order to support our English language learners to receive special instruction and preparation for a successful transition to the next grade level in accordance to policy chapter 89.1250 by providing students opportunities in English or in oral language development and literacy. Engage students in multiple authentic reading and writing activities that involve listening, speaking, reading, writing, vocabulary development, and sentence structure skills in English. Providing students with extra support by dramatically increasing academic English vocabulary, knowledge through daily listening and speaking activities taught in English, providing shared and independent writing as an ongoing part of the student's daily routine in English, structuring center time to foster the development of fine motors, art, technology, dramatic play, math, science, and language art skills in English, and engaging students in physical activities such as music, movement, free play, and everything is conducted in English. At the end of the 20 days, we have to demonstrate students' growth through the use of assessments and data collection in English language acquisition, in listening, speaking, reading, and writing domains. I create lesson plans, I keep track of their attendance, contact parents in order to make sure that they are attending, and get observations, as many observations as they can, to see the growth for the students. Teacher strategies supporting biliteracy. Well, I try to support my students' RC development, which is included in literacy instruction. For example, using read-alouds and talking to make sure they understand. And when they don't, I do use the Spanish to explain to them what's going on, and then I explain it to them in English just so they can follow along and make sure, because like I said, the English language is what we are focusing on, and I have to continue teaching in English. The curriculum and the content is all in English, so I have to make those connections for my English language learners. I use picture vocabulary, I use a lot of dialogue, I use reader's theater. They can't read, but they listen to the story and then they act it out. And here is a picture of what I did with them during the ESL Academy. And I was very lucky that Veronica was able to attend and she enjoyed it. I use a lot of whole group for shared reading and shared writing, where I model, I read, and I ask the kids questions of what they understand, what's going on, what happens first, next, last, the setting, the characters, and I give them independent time. Like you see here, I have a little boy that wrote the letter A, and A is for apple, and that's, we learn it as a whole group, but then he takes it back and he was able to write it independently. I also I try to touch a little bit on the meta language development, but like I said, since we are not teaching Spanish, we are not a dual language program, I can't really go into the writing in Spanish. So what I do use is, for example, the cognates, and that is a cross-language connection. I use the cognates. I also, if the child shows me a cat, I say, this is cat in English, and I tell them in Spanish, así se dice gato en inglés, cat. Just try to have them make connections. And I'm gonna have you listen to a little video of my students acting out the Three Little Pigs.
At the end. No.
Okay, not by the hair?
Not by the hair. On my chinny chin chin. Chin chin chin.
And then you say it, then I'll huff,
And I huff.
and I'll puff,
And I puff.
and I'll blow your house in.
And I blow your house in.
And those are some of the strategies that I help my students in supporting their biliteracy development. Students' experiences and effects on biliteracy. In the book that we've been reading, Biliteracy from the Start, by Escamilla, Hopo, and Butuvalsky, the definition for biliteracy is the ability to read, write, speak, and negotiate life in more than one language. Is deemed an attribute of well-rounded and highly educated people in any country, and that is on page 1. My student She really enjoys school. She enjoys coming to school every day. She enjoys learning. And I think the fact that I'm using whole group instruction, small group, centers, readers theater, all those experiences help her become biliterate. Unfortunately, our district doesn't have a dual language program, but the mom is very involved. She has enrolled in English classes to continue providing the support my student Veronica needs in mastering her second language. But she also shared with me that she will continue speaking to her daughter in Spanish and teaching her the language because she thinks that it's very important for her future. She says that she has a vision and that she wants her daughter to go to school and to graduate high school and to finish a career. And she said that when her daughter seeks a job in her career, that being bilingual will benefit her because she will be able to read, write, speak, and will be able to carry a conversation with others in two different languages. I'm going to leave a little video of my student learning rhymes, and I'm going to play the video. I don't want to show her face, but I want you to hear her mastering the English language.
Snake, cake, bee, tree, mouse.
Very good, Veronica.
Let me see.
And that was a little video of her. I don't know if it's too clear, but I just don't want to post her face or her picture because of confidentiality reasons, and I don't want to go there. But that was her. She's been in school since July, and you could see that she is picking up the language, and her mom is helping her. But she continues to speak her Spanish. She continues to talk to her parents in Spanish because that is her home language. And when their family comes to visit, that's the Spanish is the language that they use. Unfortunately, she won't get the academic language in Spanish, but she continues to practice both languages. Assessment, instruction, plan, and execution. In order to see academic growth and language development, I must assess my students. The assessments I use for my pre-K students are CPALS, iStation, which are all in English, and I continue to use ongoing observations. I base my lessons on the assessment results to guide the lessons and target those strategies that the students are not understanding and have not yet mastered. I also use the pre-K guidelines and the OWL curriculum. This curriculum, parents can have access at home, and they can read the stories in Spanish, which we have been reading in English in the classroom, in order to build students' biliteracy and meta-language development. My students' life experiences, especially Veronica's, with her life experiences, skills, and knowledge, will play a major role on her biliteracy development as explained in Hornberger's Continua. From educators, from their education, their identity, and their practices, to local and global issues of language, culture, and identity, political trends, and viewpoints of the media, all this will shape her approach for biliteracy development. So bilingual educators must reflect, be prepared, and become advocates for our English language learners so that they can continue developing their biliteracy skills and succeed in life. In conclusion, I think it falls on educators to research, attend professional development courses in order to better our instruction and use the assessments as tools to guide our lessons, and to try to foster our students' biliteracy and meta-language development. Because, for example, our district is not a dual language, does not apply the dual language model. We do offer the transitional early exit model, and we foster their first language, from pre-K until third grade. But after that, the students are basically learning all the content, all the curriculum is in English. The state assessments are all provided in English. So they need to master the English language in order to succeed. And but I think that if educators research a little and try to make those connections, the cross-cultural connections, I think we can make a difference in our ELL's education.